This is episode 3 of the basic Arduino series, and today we're learning how to light an LED. At first, you open the Tinkercad website and press on the Create button on the top right corner of your screen and choose Circuit. Then, wait for a few moments until it loads. Now, your workplace has opened. Then, you drag the Arduino Uno board since, as we mentioned before, we're gonna specifically be working on it. Also, you gotta drag a breadboard and we're gonna be talking about a few characteristics of it during the work. And don't forget to choose your LED, and you're also able to customize its color. Each LED has two terminals, a cathode and an anode. Then, drag your resistor. One of the main characteristics of a breadboard is that it acts just like a rich genie, since when you drag a wire from any of the pins of the Arduino board and put it in the breadboard, the whole row turns just like that pin. However, the two divided columns of the breadboard aren't connected together, thus you have to plug one of the terminals of the resistor in the first column and the other terminal in the other column, so both columns would be connected to each other. And now you drag a wire from the lower terminal of the resistor and take it to one of the digital pins. And you drag it to digital pins and not analog pins, since lighting an LED doesn't require using analog pins. Also, you should connect the resistor to the anode, which is the squiggly terminal of the LED, and from the cathode, you should drag a wire to that negative row on the breadboard. And then we connect a wire into it and then drag that wire into the ground slot in the Arduino board, and the ground gives the LED the negative energy it needs to light on. And now, since the ground slot is connected to the upper negative row of the breadboard, all the slots in that row now act just like the ground pin. Also, don't forget to change the value of the resistor from kilo ohm to ohm and from 1 to 220 ohms. Now we'll start with the software. We don't need any of these blocks, we're just gonna use text, since that is what we're focusing on in this series. And now you'll have to delete all that code since you're gonna try and work it up yourself and not just take it from the computer. You have to delete every single bit of it so you can work it through yourself and see how you're improving. Now to start the code, we have to go to void setup and write what we're using. Since we're using a pin, we have to write pin mode. And don't forget to capitalize the M, otherwise the programming won't work. After it, you open parentheses and write the number of the pin. Since we're using pin number 4, we gotta write 4. After that, you add a comma and then write output all in caps, and we're gonna write output, not input, since an LED is an output and not just inside the Arduino board. And in the end of every single line, you just have to write a semicolon. Then we move on to working with void loop. And just like the name states, it's just looping itself. Every program you write in it is gonna loop itself. Since we're using digital pins, so you gotta write digital write, and the W should be capitalized. After that, you gotta open parentheses and then write the number of the pin once again. We're using pin 4. And then you add a comma and write high all in caps, and high states the fact that the lamp is now gonna be on. And lastly, you close the parentheses and add a semicolon. Now we wanna turn off the LED but not directly, so we write delay, and here every 1000 milliseconds means 1 second, and here they're working with milliseconds, so you gotta write 1000 to make 1 second. And as usual, don't forget the semicolon. And then you write digital write, as we stated before, since we're using digital pins, and you write the number of the pin, comma, and then low all in caps to state the fact that the light is now gonna turn off. Then close the parentheses and add a semicolon. Now, as I stated before, since this is void loop, this thing is gonna loop itself once again. So to leave a bit of time between the turning off and on, we gotta delay once again. And as I said, every 1000 milliseconds makes 1 second, so you gotta write 1000 just to make 1 second. And then press on the Start Simulation button on the top right corner of your screen. So there seems to be a problem, so we're gonna check the feedback that they gave us. they said that there is a problem in line 13, but line 13 is empty. However, in line 12, looks like we didn't write a semicolon, and since we didn't write a semicolon, the program didn't take it as a line and then said that the problem is in line 13, so we gotta add a semicolon in line 12. And now that we've fixed our problem, let's try to start simulating once again. And tada, looks like we did it because they didn't give us any feedback about a problem in our program. And voila, our lamp is done. You have to admire and appreciate your own work, even if it's just lighting a lamp. Now this is an actual footage of the real hardware in real life. Oh, and also, don't forget to comment any questions you got to answer them in our Tech Talk Friday. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe if you haven't. And bye!